I've got a slight cold by the way, so if this turns up on film.
We'll see. Hello, here's our review of Bad Times in Royale by the man himself, Drew Goddard. I kind of love this.
I liked it a lot. Like, I feel it kind of fell apart a little towards the end. Like, I didn't really know. They built it up so solidly. I didn't really think they had any kind of payoff planned. So I felt the ending felt like a little too. I wouldn't say predictable. Just like, it's just not as good as the rest of the film. The two thirds of this movie are great, and then just the ending, without giving too much away, just sort of just kind of falls flat for me.
Quick thoughts. I thought we're gonna just go through spoiler-free thoughts, and then we get into spoiler territory. Okay. To start with this, Bad Times in Royale, it's a mystery, thriller, drama-esque movie. It's from Drew Goddard. You might have seen Cabin in the Woods. I really like that movie. I actually watched that after I saw the Bad Times in Royale. I think that movie, Cabin in the Woods, I think that's still a lot of fun. It's really funny. There's so many like meta jokes in it if you're into like any horror that you will have yourself laughing your ass off. It's really smart and it's really clever. I even like some of the movies he wrote too. He wrote Cloverfield, he wrote The Martian.
Those aren't actually bad films. I know he did The Martian.
He also co-wrote, to my knowledge, World War Z. I haven't seen that.
I thought he directed that.
Nope, that was Mark Foster.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
That was Mark Foster. And I also really, and of course Daredevil season 1 that he was the showrunner of that for the first season. After that he kind of got like taken off. So with this one he's fully writing and directing. No Josh Whedon this time. And honestly, I can't wait for the future of this guy. I really love this movie. This might be my favorite of the year. There's so much I loved about it. It's basically about this hotel. Pretty much, if you've ever been to like the north, west of like America, it's just like in like the forests. It's like this hotel that's on the line of California and what did they say? What was the other state?
Nevada. Nevada is right near California.
To Nevada. And honestly, I don't know why, but I really like the concept of this. I kind of wanted to be in this hotel, as creepy as it was.
I would sort of agree with you on that, actually. I mean, the way they used this, like the scenery, like the sets were really well designed. Yeah, I love the look of the movie.
And I liked how this felt like a hotel you could be in. This isn't like some stock hotel that you see in like a cartoon or a movie.
I mean, to be honest, it looked like something out of Fallout New Vegas, like pre-nuclear apocalypse, which is like an aesthetic that I like.
Yeah, the aesthetic of this whatever. Speaking of the aesthetic, I love the style of this movie. It wasn't like it was that mixture of realistic and stylized. Like you could tell that this was edited, but it was done in this way where the colors felt natural, but you still kind of noticed them. Like the different colors in this. I really love that about this. And the whole concept of it. I love this. I love the ambition of this movie. This really reminded me of David Robert Mitchell's movie, Under the Silver Lake, only not as creepy. I'm going to talk about that movie one day soon in like a spoiler review because that movie is insane. But there's a lot of similarities because much like that movie, it's also really long and it's very ambitious. And like, I was really curious about like, what could this mean? What could this all end to? And there is a lot to interpret about this movie. You can definitely see, if you like know historical context, or pretty much like the whole characters in general, you can definitely hook onto something.
I mean, the thing that like impressed me the most about this film, maybe not from like an aesthetic point of view, but the acting point of view, was Chris Hemsworth.
Oh yeah.
Without giving too much away, I thought like, I feel like just because he's in the Marvel movies and stuff, like people. He doesn't really. I feel like this is good that he actually gets to show that he's actually not a half bad actor. Because I remember watching him in Rush and he wasn't bad in that. So I was glad that like that was
Chris. Flick. Yeah, it's nice to see the Marvel actors out of their like type. It's like Mark Ruffalo in pretty much every movie he's in. That's not the MCU.
True, but it's kind of like with Chris Hemsworth. It's like he kind of is full. You can't really imagine him in like another role. So
this role he gets to. We're not gonna spoil it in this section, but in this one he's given a really like. Trashy, just like but it's all the more enjoyable of how this is a very good villain.
Yeah, he's a great villain.
Like, speaking of the acting, one of my favorites of this movie two. One of them was Louis Pullman, the hotel manager guy, the hotel like helper dude.
Well, it's Tom Holland.
Nope.
Tom Holland.
Nope.
They look exactly the fucking same.
Guess I can kind of see that now, but his name is Louis Pullman, and he's Bill Pullman's son.
Actually, that does kind of make sense. He does look a little bit like.
He does look like him a lot.
It's Bill. He's the son of the president from
Independence Day.
Yeah. Cool.
And this character, I loved his character. There's so much to this guy, and I really loved this kid. I saw him in the Strangers Pray at Night earlier this year, and I thought he did a good job in that. The movie wasn't great, but he did fine. And I feel like he really proved himself with this. I could see like a future for this kid, and it's nice to see another like celebrity child who's also incredibly talented.
Basically, just as long as he doesn't say yes to Casper the Friendly Ghost 2, he's good. Well, he's good for life. Doesn't follow in the footsteps of his father.
Oh man. Oh, that would be amazing.
What else? Apart from acting? Oh yeah, this is a Dakota Johnson performance that didn't make me want to kill things. Because I'm just used to her being shit in everything. So when this actually came along, she actually wasn't half bad.
She wasn't bad. This is probably that one weak link of the performances for me. She wasn't bad. It's just her character was not given that much to do.
She's just one of those actors who, as soon as they turn up in anything, has kind of grown. And I did do that here, but she actually sort of grew on me.
Yeah, I liked her. I like what they were trying to do with him. It's just it wasn't as effective as like some of the other characters in this movie. And but she did fine. I'm kind of curious about Suspiria. We'll see how that turns out. I don't hate her. I don't try to like. It's the same thing with Kristen Stewart. Like, I don't like to judge an actress based on one bad performance, even though that might be popular.
The problem I have with Kristen Stewart is it's just that one facial expression she constantly pulls. It makes her look like Martin Skirtle, and it's bizarre because I can't get out of my head that it's like. She might be related to Martin Skirtle, and that stops me from watching any of her movies because I'm wondering if like Martin Skirtle is part of the Kristen Stewart's family, and he's not actually, and like he's just kind of like a fullback. He's had a football career and a sort of fucking like Kaiser Soze-esque move to provide anonymity.
Relation.
They have the same fucking jawline. It's bizarre. That's why I can't like actually. That's why I don't find Kristen Stewart attractive because I'm just like that's just female Martin Skirtle. Martin Skirtle's fuck ugly. Martin Skirtle's so hard he could go into a McDonald's and ask for a fucking Whopper, and they give it to him.
Oh god. Well, we'll see that. I also really liked what was the black girl's name? I don't know the actress. Oh god.
Shit, I'm just trying to remember.
I don't know what she was in. I don't know what she was in.
I recognise her from something. I definitely did. Like I think I have seen her in something. I just forgot her name.
I don't remember the name now, but I thought she was excellent. I really liked her, and I don't know if that was her voice she sings in this movie. There's a lot of like relation to 1970s like music era.
Yeah.
Was it set in the 70s?
Yeah, it's set in the 60s.
Oh,
it's
still,
yeah, it's the same kind of.
It's that stoner style, and she was really good in terms of voice,
etc.
like that was some really good voice. I'd love to see her as in like a musical or in like other movie soundtrack. That was really well done.
I mean, I thought like her and Jeff Bridges were actually the best bits of the movie.
Let's talk about Jeff Bridges, the man. Holy shit, this is like...
He's basically just playing the dude, but a priest. But I'm cool with that. Jeff Bridges' entire career, except True Grit, since 1998, has just been the dude, and this has sort of continued in this movie. Because as much as I love the dude, like he's now sort of relegated to playing one type of character. When he actually has a fucking lot of range. I mean, he's not. I'm exaggerating a little, but it's just kind of cool to see him being something that isn't shit. I mean, after R.I.P.D. and that one thing with Julianne Moore where it was a fantasy movie, they needed to give Jeff Bridges like an actual decent script again because he's a fucking institution, and I'm glad this movie has...
Yeah, I liked him in this movie. I liked how he wasn't just doing... I mean, he is doing that sort of southern drawl. Is he doing the southern drawl?
Yeah, he is.
He's doing the southern drawl here, but it was good. I liked what he was given. I liked, he did a really good job. And as you said, he really worked well with that actress.
Sure.
I really liked them. I liked how their relationship was pretty much like you were guessing like do they hate each other
Yeah.
or are they gonna like be a team? I like that. I like the dynamic between them.
His voice is fucking changed though with Jeff Bridges. You go back and watch something like Cutter's Way or like any of the movies he did in the 70s and 80s, he has like a really soft voice. And I feel like the Big Lebowski, I don't know what the fuck happened, but now he talks like he's like gone up to his neighbour's driveway and eaten all the gravel. And he's I swear to God, him and Sam Elliott now have like similar type voices, because Sam Elliott, you can't fucking understand him in anything. And this is the same idea.
Oh. You should see the Stars Born. I liked him in the Stars Born. Sam Elliott was fine there. Something and of course we haven't mentioned John Hamm.
Yeah, I mean he's basically just Don Draper, but like in the beginning bit he was basically just being a southern Don Draper, which is great. And then when I'm not trying not to reveal anything, you kind of like you see him again later. It's like a different context basically. I mean. Yeah, go ahead.
I thought he isn't in the movie as much as you would think.
But he's a big star to advertise it.
Well, yeah. Kind of, but like, he was fine for the scenes he was there, and yeah, sorry, it's nighttime, but I really liked him for what he was there, but he wasn't any present. Then, of course, we have mentioned Caleb Spinney, the little girl, Dakota Johnson's sister.
She was a better actor than Dakota Johnson.
She was one of the bright spots in Pacific Rim Uprising for me, and I was not. And she in this, she's like given like, I'm not gonna spoil what is it with her character, but she was really entertaining in that. She's also kind of the villain, like a secondary villain in this, but she was a really good thing.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that.
I thought she did a good job. Anyone else? I think
I think all the acting in this movie was fine. I think the only actual problem I have with this movie is just kind of how underwhelming the end is in comparison, but I'll get to that later.
Yeah, to like give like a spoiler free review now. Here's my problem. I have two problems with this movie. One, and I do agree, because of how ambitious this movie is, it juggles multiple like timelines, non-linear-esque Tarantino. Not like Tarantino.
It's trying to be a little like him. It's not that much. I mean, they use the same kind of idea of like having the title cards kind of like in a Pulp Fiction type of way when they cut between different characters.
And there's different like time, like it's not like different like areas aside unless it's using a flashback scene. There's a lot of flashbacks in this. Sometimes that wasn't as well like balanced. Sometimes there were some stories that I wanted a little bit more. Relating to back to Louis Pullman, there is sort of a character reveal that I thought could have been a lot better if they would have revealed it earlier or would have done a bit more with it. Another thing that I'm kind of not necessarily disappointed but just a little let down is the dialogue. I was expecting for like maybe a couple more bites or a couple more one-liners. But it's really well written, like the actual conversations and like the social comment, the social like subtext and all that stuff, as Rotten Tomatoes would say. I really like that. It's just the dialogue wise, I was just a little let down.
Yeah, I mean, if this movie were a sandwich, it would be like chicken and lettuce with mayonnaise. I mean, it's not my first go-to, but it's there.
It is.
It's better than most of the other stuff that's on offer. So,
I definitely recommend this. If you liked Cabin in the Woods or you like movies like this, you will definitely have a good time with this. I would love to see it again or maybe analyze it. It is long though. It's 141 minutes long.
Yeah, it's a fucking slog at times.
Sometimes I felt it, but I wasn't never bored. Like I was always like interested. This movie always had a flow. I was never bored with this. I don't know how this will do or whether this is gonna get any like award nominations, but it was pretty good. I really enjoyed it, and I'm really excited, as I said, for Drew Goddard.
I don't think it's gonna get any award nominations because it's come out too early for Oscar bait season. Oscar bait season's like late November, December, part of January. That's like the time.
Yeah, that's when these.
It is missed for Boat and Forgot Its Keys at the same time.
Which is a shame, because there are some movies this year that got some, or at least got ignored. So yeah, this is our spoiler-free thoughts. I would give this an 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I really liked it.
I would give it a high rating, but I'd give it like about a 7.4, just because the ending just kind of underwhelmed me, and I did actually get quite bored for like the last 20 minutes. So yeah.
Alright, these are spoiler-free thoughts. As I said, recommended. If you want to go see it, you'll have a good time. Okay, let's get on to spoiler territory.
Hiring Chris Hemsworth is a Charlie Manson-esque cult leader was a fucking genius. Just hire. I don't know who came out of that, like, casting him for that role, but it actually really worked.
He was in Cabin in the Woods. I feel like there might have been something with that it's Drew Goddard directing again.
Yeah.
It could be. I really liked him. I loved that cultness about him. I liked how he was really much enjoying this. I also liked how he even looked physically a little different. Like, he wasn't, like, bulked up as he is as 4, or, like...
He hasn't, like, under contract to do, like, a Marvel movie anytime. Like, oh shit, he's got Infinity War Part 2, but, like, he's not had to, like, do the fucking training and shit to do that.
But I feel like this fit the character, because if he was as buff as he was for, like, 4, it would be a little weird.
Well, yeah, because if you look like Thor, it just kind of, like, he would be, like, an actual god. So, with this is a guy who thinks he's a god.
and it's really work. I don't know what exactly, like, as you mentioned Charles Manson, I don't know what exactly is this, like, a reference to.
Oh, no, it's a reference to that, because it's set in the 60s, he had, like, a lot of cult leaders, like Charles Manson, like David Koresh, like... People had, like, weird sex murder cults with, like, a ton of followers and, like, kind of convinced them to do terrible things.
Oh, yes.
Like, David Koresh, like, was part of that thing where, like, they all killed themselves.
Oh. Oh, yeah, I think I heard of that one. But, like, yeah, I heard of that one, I think. But, Caleb Spaney is also part of it, so is Dakota Johnson. Kinda. That they didn't make that really clear. Caleb Spaney is basically playing Chris Hemsworth, like, servant or something like that.
Oh yeah, he is. He's
like this, like, hyper admirer of him.
Like, to be honest, like, some of the his accent isn't even half bad either. Like, I thought he would do a fucking terrible Southern accent, because like most Southern accents are like really hard to do for like any actor. Like a good example of a terrible one is Nick Cage in Con Air. So I'm glad like it didn't go into that territory.
I also didn't like how they didn't do like the hyper affecting one. You know, the well, God damn! They didn't do that. They didn't. Well, I was very happy like they didn't do that.
Well, like he fucking sounds like Foghorn Leghorn.
Or like, you know, pretty much anytime someone tries to do like a hyper or like accent, and I liked that they didn't do that. Everyone had that really well laid down. I really liked the different accents. They really I really liked that. The accents were well done. Caleb Spaney, they're basically the main bad guys. Dakota Johnson is a sister to Caleb Spaney's character, and she wasn't like given them. I didn't really get how this person could be a part of that cult. I didn't really...
Well, the little kid.
No, the Dakota Johnson.
Yeah, I don't really get why she was part of that cult. Oh, because her sister followed her along to it? They didn't actually really... Like, that's one of the biggest criticisms of the movie. They don't really fucking explain that at all.
I feel like she was kind of like in love with Hemsworth. I feel like, or had like an infatuation with it.
Show you anything, like... to the case, because whenever she's there, it's clear because she's there for like her sister rather than like she actually wants to be there.
And yeah, and like with Caleb Spaney, they kind of hint that she's like in love with Hemsworth or something like that, but or like, you know, and like this is like a creepy cult. Like they kind of hinted that it never gets graphic,
it's a sex murder ritual suicide type of deal.
Kind of. I'm not. It's kept vague.
It's basically like a Charles Manson, but like he does more. He like screws his followers more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also will yeah, but it's kind of nice to see him play like a leader of a cult. It's nice to see him play against type. John Hamm, as we discussed, you said he's like Southern Don.
Yeah, he's basically Southern Don Draper, which is cool. And then like the other half of the movie is like the actual like FBI agent. I thought that was like a really actually clever twist.
Yeah,
that was the best twist in the entire film.
I also really liked, not really the cinematography. How sometimes there were so many like long, wide angle.
Oh no, the way they used the storm was really effective.
Yes, and
in terms of the editing.
Oh, I love that, and I loved how sometimes there were so many moments where it was quiet. Sometimes it was a little overdone. I can kind of see why some people would find this boring, but to me, it kind of worked. Like later, as we discover, not to leave another character motivation, Jeff Bridges is in this movie because he stole money like 10 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And his friend Ron Swanson or something like that.
Yeah.
That was Ron Swanson, right?
Yeah, it's Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec.
At the very first scene is just him. If you've seen the scene in the trailer, he gets shot. It was in the trailer, and that's him. And Jeff Bridges is basically going after that money, and he turns out it's in the room of the black girl's room.
Oh yeah, like.
And that's how they found it. My favorite scene is when Jeff Bridges was trying to get out on her, and as we discover, there are people spying on the people who are in the hotel in like small little like alleys right next to the room.
To be honest, it kind of felt like a Twilight Zone episode at times with that stuff.
Yeah, there is some like relation how they record people having sex and shit.
Yeah, I mean, because that's not what the FBI used to do in real life with like public figures. Like J. Edgar Hoover was like a sick fuck, so he actually used to do stuff like that. That's why they have like sex tapes of like Martin Luther King and shit. No, I'm not even kidding. They literally do.
God damn. And yeah, this one is like really. It was really like kind of uncomfortable, but it's that sort of thing where you're like, this is very like enjoyably creepy.
I mean, yeah, I can sort of see that. I mean, the problem is I feel they should have focused more on that. I feel like the Chris Hemsworth cult stuff was fun, but it wasn't actually that interesting.
Yes.
Whereas, because you can sort of see it being really predictable. Whereas, like this stuff,
this would have been clever if they could have like focused on that. They could have like done like clever commentary or like.
It would have just been a better movie because like you would have had a more ambiguous, but like the ambiguity probably would have made it more fun.
Like the mirrors in this are literally one-way mirrors.
Yeah, I know.
And like it's a very cleverly done way. Getting back to Lewis Pullman, now that we can talk about the character, he's basically ex-soldier, a vet, Vietnam vet. That was Vietnam.
Yeah, Vietnam.
He's a Vietnam vet.
Was it Vietnam or Korea? I think it might be. Wait, if this is the early 60s.
Or something like that. From the like the scenery.
Oh no, it's the late 60s. If it's late 60s, it's Vietnam. If the early 60s, it's Korea. But he's like a. Yeah, I think it is Vietnam. I think it actually is Vietnam.
We might mix up our time periods here. It's sort of up to debate what time period is set in, so it's debatable. But he also is a heroin. Was he a heroin addict or was he just?
No, he just used to deal with junkies, because they used to come in the hotel. And
it's just there was a scene where he just got something stuck in his like, or was that like?
I think that's another dude.
No, that was him.
Oh shit! No, he is a junkie. Yeah, he is a junkie.
I love the character because they really give this guy a past, and there really is this sort of like, kind of like patheticness about it that I really enjoyed, and he did a fantastic job.
Other than Jeff Bridges, he's the best character in the movie.
I really liked him in this. Oh, by the way, this was a slightly, or at least me, was slightly unintentionally funny because the way they reveal that he was a sniper.
Yeah.
Is kind of like that really like inappropriate joke of the Vietnam flashback joke.
Oh yeah.
Like this is probably my problem that sometimes the flashbacks don't really go well, and like literally the way they reveal this character's like origin is like in like a really bad joke, or like it's like in a really bad like comedy or something like that where they use he had Vietnam flashbacks, and then suddenly it's like, wait a minute, he was a Vietnam vet.
You didn't want the movie to turn into Tropic Thunder, basically like that was your criteria. To be fair, that would have been fucking funny if they like just put him in Tropic Thunder. They had Robert Downey Jr. in like the full racially insensitive makeup to go with it. It would have been.
But like it was just a little out of wait. It's only about Vietnam now. It was just a bit of, it was like so out of nowhere that I kind of found it a little like out of like place. Not funny, but like it was just a little weird.
Yeah, it was like it was like not inappropriate. It just didn't really work. Like with the rest of the story, I can see where you're coming from actually.
Yeah, it was just out of nowhere. But aside from that, I love how he is secretly kind of a badass. The way he picks up the gun and he shoots, and he does look convincing with the gun. Even though this guy, I don't know how old is this guy, but he does a fantastic job. Like he could make a good like action like sidekick or something like that.
Yeah, I mean. He'll probably be in more movies after this.
Oh, I'm sure. I kind of hope because he did a really good job with this, and he's revealed that he's a sniper. Like he's really good. Like his aim is excellent, and he does a fantastic job with a gun in some of the action scenes on this. And I just like he turned into Two-Face at the end.
Oh yeah, he did. That's kind of cool.
He gets shot by accident, and his like face is like fully covered in like scars, and I was like, you look kind of like Two-Face.
If they ever do another Batman go around, this guy should be like Harvey Dent.
He did a really good job with that. Now let's talk about Jeff Bridges and the girl. Oh, I'm so sorry that I don't know your name. You were so good. Why did I not check up your name? I heard you this.
Jeff Bridges gives another good performance in the long and storied career of Jeff Bridges, even though he is still responsible for. Jeff Bridges has been in a lot of movies, and I would say about a quarter of them are watchable, and now we can put that number to like 27%. And this is the 27%.
He was really good in this, and as I said, I love their relationship. I love how there was the priest and. Oh, let's talk about the girl. His backstory. He was basically like in like a recording studio when there was this like really like super like smarmy like manager. Like this guy is so like cliche that he literally is watching the girls who are smoking a cigar in like the most.
Like, he just needed a fucking cartoon moustache to twirl and like a top hat and to tie someone to like a train track, and then you kind of have to. Like, yeah, he actually kind of ruined the mood because he's like, oh, this guy's going to be the douche, isn't he?
For a second, I thought that, yeah, yes, like he wasn't in a movie much, but as he comes in, like there's some subtext with race in this as well. It does kind of touch upon that. By the way, the moment I saw him, I was like, he looks like Johnny Depp.
Well, that guy.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
No. At first, I was like, wait, is that like some young Johnny Depp? Oh wait, no, I just thought at first.
No way, he looks like fucking Johnny Depp. He just looks like a smiley cartoon villain.
No. It just at first I was like, is that like a young Johnny Depp? I was like, wait, no, that's. No. I was like, he looks like a young Johnny Depp, whatever. But the director manager looked like one. But I really liked her storyline. I loved again her voice. She was really well done, and there are some really suspenseful scenes with him and James Bridges. They really good. These two would make a really good buddy cop movie or like a buddy.
Jeff Bridges has a formal restraining order from buddy cop movies after
RIPD.
And as a result, we should no longer attempt to make any buddy cop movies starring Jeff Bridges. So, yeah, if Jeff Bridges is not good in a buddy cop situation, The Big Lebowski is his buddy cop situation, and they're not even cops, and that is perfect, and that should just be it.
Yeah.
And cut his way as well, like he kind of in like a completely different context. Like that's sort of like a crime movie where he's trying to solve shit, but he's not a cop. Those are the kind of buddy movies he should stick to.
Okay, something like that. Aside from that, I think I don't have that much more to say. As I said, I really like the different ideas. I may want to see this movie again.
I probably won't go see it again. Mainly because A, I know like all the twists, so it's not as fun, and B, it's like there's other stuff which I can use my time for. So.
It's also in the 2 hours 20 minutes. I did feel it, but I was never bored with it.
I agree with that.
I've seen like 2.5 hour movies where I was like,
Actually, I got slightly bored. There was a bit during the ending where I kind of had that problem. I kind of had that problem where it's like, just fucking end already when they were having the shootout scene. Because I thought like any of those bits, it would have been perfectly fine to just end the fucking thing, and it didn't. It just kept going and going. Yeah, that's kind of the reason why I'm giving it a 7.4. I'm sorry to anyone who wants to give that a higher, but it's my opinion.
Hey. You should deal with it, guys. But yeah, as I said, I'm really hoping for Drew Goddard after this. After like making scripts to both indie successes like Cloverfield and The Martian, and then like indie successes. I mean like the more commercial stuff. I like how he kind of bounces back and forth between being like an indie darling and being in like the more commercial stuff. I'd love to see what he does in the future. So yeah, that's our thoughts. We really enjoyed this. If you want any more in the future, we might be coming back for other movie reviews.
Sure.
This is really fun.
I'll be cool with that. Yeah, do you want to stop it?
Alright. Bye.
Bye.